The curtain rises on a tranquil and picturesque scene, with Ali at the helm of his boat, navigating the sparkling waters of the Bosphorus with a fervent ardor. He casts his fishing lines with great skill and patience, his eyes keenly attuned to the slightest tug on the line, as he strives to catch the most delectable fish in the sea. After a bountiful haul, Ali returns to his eatery, a bustling hive of activity filled with savory aromas and the sounds of laughter and conversation. With an unparalleled mastery of the culinary arts, he imbues his dishes with a subtle and sophisticated blend of spices and flavors, eliciting exclamations of delight from all those who partake. As people gather around the grand communal table, they share in the camaraderie and conviviality of the feast, passing plates and exchanging tales with exuberant glee. Their hearts and bellies are full. Subsequently, with a generous heart, Ali strolls through the quaint village, offering freshly caught fish to the locals with a warm smile and a kind word. One day, he comes upon a young woman whom he has never seen before. She regards him with a curious gaze before striding off, leaving Ali to contemplate her enigmatic demeanor. Meanwhile, Deniz, a vivacious and determined young woman, ventures into the local ice cream shop in search of employment. The proprietor, Nebahat, conducts a rigorous interview, inquiring about Deniz's experience and preferences. Upon ascertaining her qualifications, Nebahat hires her. Noticing a dearth of watermelon in stock, Deniz offers to procure some from the market, and Nebahat directs her to take a route that passes by Ali's esteemed fish restaurant. As Ali oversees the seamless operations of his eatery, his friend Yasser alerts him to the diminishing supply of watermelon. Without hesitation, Ali sets out to retrieve the coveted fruit. As Deniz makes her way towards the market, a disheveled and unhinged vagrant emerges from the shadows, brandishing a menacing air. Overwhelmed with terror, Deniz lets out a piercing shriek, alerting Ali to her peril. With a chivalrous heart and a bold stride, Ali charges towards Hilmi, imploring him to calm himself. After a moment, Hilmi retreats, leaving Ali to tend to the shaken and frightened Deniz. Offering her a gentle hand to rise to her feet, Ali gives her hairband back, expressing its beauty. Deniz expresses her gratitude before swiftly turning to depart. Unwilling to let her go so easily, Ali grasps her hand, introducing himself and asking about her name. Deniz initially refuses to respond, but after Ali suggests a few potential names, she whirls around with a look of fury and reveals her name to be Deniz, emphatically stating that none of his suggestions would suffice. With that, she turns on her heel and marches away, leaving Ali to contemplate the mysterious and headstrong young lady he has just encountered. Ali returns to his restaurant, only to be met by Yasser, who reminds him about the watermelon he had forgotten. With a wry grin, Ali retraces his steps to the market, where he crosses paths with Deniz once more, this time carrying a watermelon in her arms. Despite her protests that she can handle it, Ali insists on lending a hand, informing her that he too needs a watermelon for his restaurant. In a comical struggle, they accidentally drop the watermelon, causing it to split in two. As they walk side by side, they arrive in front of Ali's restaurant, and he inquires whether Deniz plans to stay in town for the summer. Before she can answer, a group of girls call out to him, interrupting their conversation. Deniz kindly reminds him of his obligations, bids him adieu, and heads off on her way. As they part, they turn to look back at each other with a smile. On the tranquil sea, Ali and Yasser embark on the boat. Yasser, sitting on the edge of the boat, wistfully gazes at his beloved, dreaming of a future together, when suddenly a woman approaches with her luxurious boat, inviting Ali to pass by that evening, to which he responds noncommittally. Yasser queries Ali on his plans to sell the restaurant, to which Ali responds that he has no other choice, before leaving for the market. Meanwhile, Nebahat is demonstrating how to prepare ice cream to Deniz in front of her shop, when Saadet, Yasser's sweetheart, comes, exchanging pleasantries with Nebahat about the early days of her business. Ali arrives and tells her that Yasser is looking for her, and she promptly departs. When Nebahat's knees fail her, she asks Deniz to accompany Ali to the market, and they set off together on the boat, the waves lapping gently against the sides as they make their way towards their destination. Upon completing her shopping, Deniz catches sight of Ali gazing through the front glass of a jewelry store. Approaching him, she inquires about any movie theater or movie vendors in the vicinity. Yet her expectations are dashed when Ali informs her of the theater's current renovation. She jests that he is taking the matter too seriously while surveying the jewelry, to which Ali explains that he is searching for a fitting piece for Yasser's upcoming nuptials, but with little luck. Deniz then shows him a pair of jewelry, beaming with a broad smile on her face. The subsequent scene portrays them on the boat, making their way back, Deniz's hand dipping into the water, relishing its coolness, while Ali gazes at her with sparkling eyes. Suddenly, Deniz spots a stilt house in the distance and asks Ali if they could pay it a visit, to which he consents. Upon stepping onto the elevated structure, Deniz is in awe of its beauty, prompting Ali to inquire if she likes the place, to which she affirms, declaring it a veritable paradise on earth. Ali warns her, however, that once someone arrives here, they can never leave, to which Deniz queries if that happened to him. But he merely smiles and explains that he has always been here, with his family, father, and grandfather. Deniz marvels at his good fortune, describing it as luck beyond measure and saying that leaving such a place is a complete mistake. But Ali's expression turns somber, telling her that there are hidden reasons behind it all. As Deniz explores her surroundings and enjoys herself, she eventually requests to return home. Later, at the ice cream shop, Nebahat asks Deniz to prepare for the upcoming wedding. At first, Deniz hesitates, but eventually, she acquiesces and agrees to join her. As the nuptial preparations ensue, women encircle the bride, adorning her in matrimonial raiment, while the men gather around Yasar, merrily trimming his beard. Meanwhile, Deniz is preoccupied with selecting her dress, ultimately settling on a resplendent crimson number before promptly proceeding to the wedding locale. As she enters, Ali's gaze is ensnared by her, captivated by her exquisite beauty. The two exchange glances. Ali's countenance is suffused with a wide grin. As the festivities commence, guests congregate and take part in merry dancing with the betrothed couple, all partaking in laughter and moments of unbridled jubilation. However, Deniz suddenly finds herself alone on the dance floor, but Ali promptly comes to her rescue, swaying and gyrating to the lively music. Despite the euphoric atmosphere, Deniz appears apprehensive and self-conscious, sensing the scrutiny of onlookers upon her. She eventually withdraws, observing Ali ardently dancing with unbridled passion, the onlookers applauding him. Nevertheless, the sound of celebratory gunshots rent the air, triggering an overwhelming sense of trepidation within Deniz. She clasps her hands over her ears, her mind besieged by a traumatic flashback of being by a man. She flees from the venue, her heart rent asunder and her soul in shambles. In the still of the night, Deniz sits upon her bed, wrought with grief and tears streaming from her eyes. She attempts to pack her belongings into her suitcase, unable to bear the burden of the rent for her room. Meanwhile, Ali finds himself lost in contemplation on the boardwalk. On the morrow, he seeks solace in the company of a dear friend, both nestled upon the precipice of a hill. Yusuf plucks at the saz strings with great emotion and entreats Ali to unlock his heart and ears. He explains that the heart is akin to a tree, and the saz to love. One must fashion the foundation from within, adding strings and soulful vibrations to create a harmony of feeling. And then, when one takes the tool in hand, the fire in their eyes and the beat of their heart can no longer be hidden. He entrusts the tool to Ali's care, who falls silent at first, before revealing the arrival of a fair girl named Deniz in the village, a vision of beauty. Yusuf tells him to confess it to her instead, and walks away, leaving Ali perplexed and unsure. Later, Ali sails his boat back to shore, and he sees Deniz sitting by the water's edge. He approaches her with care and concern, asking about her troubles. At first, she remains silent, but Ali persists, and a man accosts her, accusing her of skimping on payment. Ali intervenes, his voice calm and measured, but the man's aggression escalates until Ali's fury is sparked. He seizes the man's face in his hand, demands that he back down, and shoves him to the ground. Deniz rushes to his side, quelling his anger as the man stalks off, issuing a warning. In moments, Ali and Deniz are seated together, with Ali offering her shelter in a stilt house that had entranced her on a previous visit. Deniz initially refuses, proclaiming her difference from other girls, but Ali's soothing words reassure her. They enter the dwelling together, and Ali promises to bring her supplies and provisions. Deniz requests a pair of slippers, which perplexes Ali, but he departs to fulfill her needs. In a bustling marketplace, Ali procures an abundance of fruits and vegetables, and he selects a pair of slippers for Deniz, marveling at their design. When he returns to the stilt house, he is impressed by how much tidier it appears, with Deniz having done an excellent job. He presents her with the slippers, and she appears taken aback by the gesture, but then laughter erupts between them. In the ensuing scene, where Ali attends to the lighting, his tongue slips, and he implores Deniz to pass him the screwdriver placed in the topmost drawer. As she is about to oblige, a realization dawns on Deniz. How does Ali know the exact location of the screwdriver? Inquiring about the matter, she probes Ali about whether he ever contacted the house owner regarding the rent. Ali, taken aback, falters for a moment before conceding that he is, in fact, the owner of the house. Deniz, bewildered, questions him as to why he concealed this fact. Ali explains that he refrained from revealing his identity, especially after Deniz expressed her disbelief that the owner would abandon such a beautiful house and rent it out. He further adds that everyone has secrets and prods Deniz if she too has something to hide. Flustered, Deniz avoids the question and turns around. Subsequently, Ali and Deniz find themselves seated by the table with their feet submerged in the tranquil waters, basking in the serene ambience of nature. Curious, Deniz inquires about Ali's decision to rent the house. With a heavy heart, Ali confides that the house holds painful memories for him. He recounts a past altercation with his father, which led him to leave the village. But but he returned upon learning of his mother's demise. Deniz questions Ali if he has reconciled with his father. A forced smile spreads across Ali's face as he recounts his father's silent embrace at the funeral, realizing that it was their final goodbye. With tears in his eyes, Ali points towards a boat and reveals that it belongs to his father, who had set sail but never returned. Despite his prolonged wait, his father never came back, and Ali decided to rent the house to avoid reminiscing about the painful memories associated with it. Deniz feels the weight of Ali's words, but he suddenly takes her hand and insists that she learned sailing since she will be residing there. Together, they set out on the boat, relishing the picturesque views of the crystal-clear waters, sharing laughter and glances, enjoying each other's company. As night falls, they sit by the shore, and Ali's inquisitiveness leads him to inquire about Deniz's story. After initial reluctance, Deniz divulges that she lost her mother as a child, and her father passed away a year later due to a heart attack. With emotions brimming, she laments being left alone and embarking on a journey from one place to another, devoid of a sense of belonging. Tears welling up in her eyes, Ali apologizes for bringing up the matter. Deniz reminisces about a song her mother used to sing to her. She begins to sing it with raw emotion, and upon finishing, Ali commends her voice, and she blushes, looking down as they sit and admire the beauty of the night. Subsequently, we find Deniz nestled in her bed, holding a photograph of Ali's mother, enraptured by her alluring countenance, whilst Ali reclines outside, inundated with the deluge of felicity. Upon the morrow, Deniz arises from slumber and ventures forth from her abode, only to happen upon Ali engaged in the craft of carpentry with wooden sticks. Inquisitive, she queries him as to his purpose, and he responds that he is constructing a cinema for her pleasure. Astounded by his endeavor, Deniz follows him, and he sets the wooden screen before a pair of elongated beach chairs. With gallantry, he assists her in seating herself, bidding her to close her eyes and imagine. Despite her attempts, Deniz confesses that she cannot conjure up any visions and implores Ali to share his own reverie. Though he feigns to envision the mundane, the eatery, his friend Yasar, the sea, the art of sailing, the truth remains that Ali's thoughts are fixed on a future with Deniz. He envisions them embracing, swimming in unison, and laughing in each other's company. Deniz attempts once more to dream and reveals her desire for ice cream, though her true fantasy entails a life shared with Ali. Amused, Ali teases her for her meager aspiration, and they rise to stand, gazing intently into each other's eyes with ardor and passion until they unite in their first kiss. In time, they frolicked in the waters, speaking of fish and their likeness to one another. Ali elucidates that, like love, Deniz is unique and incomparable. They savor a protracted kiss and submerge themselves deeply into the water, embracing. The ensuing scene depicts their delight in flying a kite from a vessel, laughing and relishing each other's company. They indulge in ice cream together at the shop with their bodies in close proximity, and Yasar and Saadet soon join them. They spend much of their days and nights in each other's presence, ardently in love. Subsequently, Deniz prepares a small gift for Ali, informing him that her father gave it to her and insisting that it would protect her throughout her life. She asserts that she feels protected now that she has met Ali, and they share a laugh and a tender embrace. The following scene presents Deniz, Ali, and his friend Yusuf upon a hill, engaging in warm conversation. Yusuf queries Deniz as to how she arrived there, and she divulges her story, but this time she fabricates that her father suffered a heart attack rather than an accident. She observes Ali's expression and quickly amends her tale, redirecting the conversation to Yusuf's passion for the saz and her desire to learn. Meanwhile, Ali departs to procure the meat for the grill. Yusuf imparts a condition to Deniz, stating that she must know Ali as well as she knows herself, for he is rendered mute in her absence. He elaborates that she should choreograph her life as if the strings of a saz are being plucked. Deniz inquires as to why Ali never leaves this place, and Yusuf responds with a mournful sigh and a painful expression, revealing that his dwelling, and even the trees await the return of someone dear. Ali interrupts their conversation with the arrival of the food, and they all relish in a merry repast. Later that evening, Deniz and Ali sit on the edge of the water, with Deniz cradled in Ali's arms. She shares with him her perception that Yusuf is different from the other locals, and Ali affirms that he hails from elsewhere, having followed his beloved Layla to this place. He discloses that her father rejected Yusuf and betrothed her to another man, but on her wedding day, Layla and Yusuf has been waiting for her return ever since. Deniz expresses her opinion that one must stand up against those they do not want, despite the consequences, a statement with which Ali agrees wholeheartedly. The following day, Deniz emerges from her dwelling and sees Ali hastening forth with their handcrafted theater stick. With eager entreaty, he implores her to accompany him to the midday dream session. Together, they conjure visions of an idyllic existence, ensconced within their resplendent abode, surrounded by their brood of cherished offspring, and awash in a surfeit of felicity and amour. Abruptly, Deniz is jolted from her reverie as a stranger clamps his hand over her mouth, stifling her voice and shattering her sweet illusion. Her countenance twists in fear, yet she remains mute, clutching Ali's hand. Later, while Ali and Yasser prepare the fishnet, Ali asks Yasser for his ring, inquiring as to its selection. Yasser discloses a little secret that the ring must be fitted to his little finger to be adequate for the girl's ring finger. Ali queries if it is a snug fit, whereupon Yasser jokes that he must then forget about the girl, but for consuming too much ice cream, he will be buying a bigger size. At that moment, Deniz appears with 2 scoops of ice cream and offers them to the 2 men. In the evening, as Deniz and Ali sit together around the table, Ali arranges stones atop one another as he utters a heartfelt declaration to Deniz. He confesses that prior to her advent, he was akin to these stones, obscured and entombed within the earth. However, with her arrival, he was restored, discovering the solace and joy he sought. He implores her to accept his hand in marriage, sliding the ring atop the stones. Deniz, taken aback and stunned, pauses before refusing Ali's proposal. Tearful and crestfallen, Ali departs, leaving Deniz alone to contemplate her unworthiness and inability to embark on such a life with him. Her past shackles her, preventing her from embracing a future with him. As Ali departs, Deniz weeps and cries out, while Ali is shattered, unable to fathom what has transpired, clutching Deniz's hairband and inhaling her scent, his eyes brim with tears. In the subsequent scene, Nebahat weeps as Deniz departs from the village, everyone bidding her farewell, as she trudges away like a desolate soul. Amidst a world falling apart, the next scene unfolds with Ali, his heart shattered, shedding tears as he confides in his trusted confidant Yusuf. He reveals that he bared his soul to Deniz, but she betrayed him without granting him the opportunity to speak. Ali imparts that he executed Yusuf's advice, opening his eyes and heart solely for her, only to end up like this. Ali stands, his soul in search of solace, propping himself against the wooden wall of the house where Deniz conceals herself, tears brimming in her eyes as she listens to his words. Ali admits that he fled that place, contemplating selling the house. But, for Deniz's sake, he reconsidered, struggling with memories of his parents and eventually choosing not to sell it for her. Overwhelmed with grief, Yusuf asks Ali to be patient, reminding him that everything has a purpose in life. Ali departs with a heart weighed down by sorrow. Deniz, consumed by emotion, approaches the wall where Ali has been standing, holding his cup of tea, longing for his touch. Yusuf urges her to open up and find a solution, likening her to a flower buried under the snow, which, when it melts, grows stronger. The following scene depicts Deniz at the car station, preparing to embark on a new journey, but fate has other plans. As the car arrives, she collects her belongings and takes a seat. Meanwhile, Ali is posting a signboard to sell his house when Yusuf interrupts him, sprinting towards him. Ali hastens to assist Yusuf, helping him catch his breath. Yusuf implores Ali to go and fetch Deniz, who is about to depart. Deniz's journey is set to begin when Ali suddenly appears, standing in front of the car. Deniz looks surprised, sad, and happy all at once, surprised that he came to fetch her. As they stand face to face, Ali declares that he will never leave nor give up on her. Deniz weeps, urging him to forget her, but Ali's anger swells within him, and he bellows that he will not let her go. And with that, they share a fierce and passionate kiss, sealing their love for each other. The next scene unfolds with Ali standing, waiting, anticipation bubbling within him, as Deniz emerges from the house in a resplendent white gown. He takes her hand, his heart brimming with joy, and leads her onto the boat. As they approach the village, a chorus of cheers and applause fills the air, welcoming the newlyweds. Nebahat, Yasser, Saadat, and Yusuf await them on the boat, ready to celebrate their union. Deniz's face beams with delight, mirroring Ali's unbridled happiness. Yasser severs the crimson ribbon, declaring them one, to an uproarious ovation. Ali kisses Deniz's forehead, the depth of his adoration plain for all to see. And so, they revel, basking in the warmth of their love in the company of cherished friends. As the night falls, Ali and Deniz return to their abode, where Ali initiates their traditional dance, and Deniz watches with admiration. The following days are filled with joy and laughter, a dream come true. But little do they know that their happiness will be cruelly snatched away. While Ali and Yasser prepare the boat for their voyage, Deniz prepares sandwiches for them, kissing Ali goodbye before they set sail. But unbeknownst to them, a sinister figure lurks in the shadows, his gaze fixed on Deniz with malice. After their departure, Deniz finds a note from Ali, praising her beauty, which brings her great happiness. Upon Ali's return, Deniz greets him, thanking him for the note. However, confusion ensues when Ali is unaware of the note's existence, dismissing it as a joke, and asks Deniz to go back home. Once they arrive, and when Deniz walks towards Ali, the latter introduces a man named Mr. Ikut, whom he met earlier that day. Deniz freezes, her body numb with terror. Memories of Ikut's violence flood her mind, of how he forced her to love him, handcuffed her, and threatened her with a gun. She recalls how he even confessed to killing her father. And in a fit of rage, Deniz shot Ikut and fled. Ikut regards her with a menacing grin, his eyes glinting with a malevolent glimmer. Ali invites Ikut to sit and goes to check on the grilling fish, leaving Deniz alone with her tormentor. She sits in silence, her mind awash with traumatic memories. Ikut acknowledges that he is an unexpected guest, but Ali insists that he is more than welcome. Ikut reveals that he will soon be their neighbor and intends to bring his fiancée, Defne, to stay with him. Deniz's expression turns ashen as she realizes that Defne was her former name. The nightmare that she thought was over has returned to haunt her, and the foreboding presence of Ikut threatens her life. While Ali is busy with the grill, Deniz leans in to whisper to Ikut, asking what led him to this place. He answers that he came for her, grasping her hand with a force that she resists. He shows her the scar on his shoulder, a physical reminder of the depth of his love for her. But their conversation is interrupted by Ali's return to the table with dishes in hand. Deniz excuses herself and retreats inside, her mind in turmoil, her breath short. Her eyes fall upon the rifle hanging on the wall, a chilling reminder of her past, struggling to regain her composure before returning to the table with a heavy heart. As the dinner comes to an end, it is time for Ikut to take his leave. He bids farewell to Deniz with a sly look and nods to Ali before disappearing into the night on his yacht. In the dead of night, Deniz awakens in terror, urging Ali to come outside and see what is happening. As they step out of the house, they witness Ali's boat ablaze. Deniz clings to Ali, tears streaming down her face as they watch helplessly. The following day, Ali and Yasser investigate the incident, paying a visit to the hotel owner for answers. But their inquiries yield nothing but denials, much to Yasser's ire. Meanwhile, Ali stands anxiously in his restaurant, and Ikut arrives and asks if everything is all right. Ali informs him of the loss of his boat, dismissing it as unimportant, and invites Ikut to sit down before departing. Ikut's eyes, however, remain fixed on Deniz, causing her great unease. Verily, Deniz watches as Ali and Ikut sit upon the table, speaking and laughing, leaving her with a wretched sensation. Later, upon revealing his departure from the village, Ikut bids Ali farewell for his kindness and hospitality, informing him of his intention to visit Dafne before departing. Ali warmly agrees. As Ikut approaches the shop, Deniz attempts to avoid him, but he implores her to accompany him, and they rendezvous an hour later on his boat. Deniz, with tears in her eyes, declines and asks him to depart. Ikut presses her on whether she loves him or Ali more. Without hesitation, she confesses her adoration for Ali. Much to his anguish, Ikut takes an ice cream cone and crushes it in his hand, exclaiming that there is no Ali, just him and Deniz. This leaves Deniz in great fear, knowing Ikut's obsession and the extent of his capabilities. When Ikut notices Ali observing them, he shakes her hands and leaves. Ali then strides over to Deniz and inquires whether Ikut causes her any vexation. Yet she feigns stomach cramps and tenders an apology for the mishap with the boat. With a placid mien, Ali mollifies her unease, seizing her hands and offering reassurance that their togetherness supersedes all else. Deniz bares her soul, professing that his life holds paramount significance to her, to which he amends that their lives hold equal importance, and they enfold each other in a tender embrace. Deniz expresses wanting to return to their abode, and Ali acquiesces, pledging to promptly follow suit. He escorts her to the vessel, yet she fails to mask her despondency. Upon boarding, she lingers, embracing Ali tightly, imparting to him that he is a virtuous man. Ali intuits that something amiss plagues her, and he departs from her with a heart laden with sorrow. Upon re-entering his restaurant and taking a seat, Yasser queries whether he has started signing the bills, and hands him the paper. As Ali beholds it, he discerns that it is the exact signature on the note that Deniz had given him. The series of occurrences coalesce into a cogent explanation in his mind, encompassing Ikut's abrupt appearance, Deniz's initial refusal of his proposal, and her unwavering assertion that she must depart. He promptly surges towards his dwelling, retrieves his firearm, boards the boat, and sets sail towards Ikut's yacht, resolute in his intent to bring the matter to a conclusion. When he arrives at Ikut's yacht, Ali calls out to him, his eyes ablaze with fury, brandishing his weapon. When he finally locates him, he demands that Ikut step back and relinquish Deniz, but Ikut obstinately asserts that Dafne belongs to him. Ali is momentarily taken aback, but Ikut reveals that Dafne is her true name. He exhibits to Ali his wound, inflicted by Deniz, elucidating that she had shot him and left him for dead. Ali tells him that love does not consist of threats and intimidation. In a boisterous fit of laughter, Ikut declares that he can terminate Ali's existence with a single bullet. He then withdraws his firearm and takes aim at Ali. However, Ali, fortified by his courage and love for Deniz, refuses to yield and asserts to Ikut that he would do the same if faced with someone threatening his own life, and they both open fire. In the following scene, in the turbulent sea, Deniz, plagued with misery and woe, binds herself to an anchor, seeking to sever the threads of her life. In her hour of desperation, Ali appears on his vessel, offering her a new beginning, a fresh start. Yet, Deniz, consumed by her afflictions, deems herself unworthy of happiness, and unwilling to taint him with her darkness. However, when Ali tries to reach out to her, Deniz perceives his injury and becomes distressed. As she tries to lend him aid, her anchor drops into the water, dragging her beneath the waves. In an instant, Ali, tormented by the thought of losing his beloved, seizes his anchor and plunges into the depths. In the final sequence, Deniz emerges from their home, where she once lived with Ali, and calls out to their son, Ali, who frolics in the sand. She settles into a beach chair, reminiscent of the days when she and Ali would dream together, and drifts off into her reverie. In her mind's eye, she envisions Ali emerging from the cerulean waves, drawing nearer to her with tenderness in his eyes, and gracing her with a warm, affectionate kiss. He beckons to their son and fades into the sea, yet his spirit lingers with Deniz, a source of solace and comfort for her weary soul. The screen fades to black, leaving us all with a bittersweet reminder of a love that endures beyond the boundaries of life and death.